Who dat to the Who Dat Nation, and welcome to the Dome Patrol podcast, your podcast for the New Orleans Saints here on the KB Radio Network. I am your host, Kevin Reed, and the New Orleans Saints have come out victorious in Week 15 versus the New York Giants by the score of 24-6, bringing the Saints to a 500 record, 7-7 on the season thus far. How are we doing in the Who Dat Nation? Let me start off the show as I promised in the preview episode of this game. I apologize. I had picked the New York Giants to come out victorious today, and boy was I wrong. Boy was I wrong, and never in the history of my existence here on planet Earth have I been excited to be wrong, as happy to be wrong as I am right now. I am super happy with it for the simple fact, for the first time this season, I can say this with my whole chest, for the first time this season, the Saints played a complete football game from beginning to end, all facets. Everybody was on board. It looks like everything was working. It was a beautiful thing to watch. Now, that's not to say that all 60 minutes of this game was perfect, because it wasn't. Just to be fair, that opening drive for the Saints offense was a head scratcher, to say the least. 3 straight dropbacks, which made 0 sense. But aside from that, the Saints offense looked great. The referees, not to make excuses or anything like that, but it was so silly. 2 calls in this game were so ridiculous that I wonder how did they get a job as a referee. The call against Alontae Taylor, where they called roughing, whatever it was, I forgot what the call was, unsportsmanlike or unnecessary roughness, whatever it was a stupid call, because what do you expect the defender to do? How else? There is no other way Alontae Taylor could have made that tackle. That was a perfect tackle. He led with his shoulder, hit the guy. It looked vicious, but it was the only way he could have made that tackle. And they hit him with a flag. And that was on a 3rd and 22, I believe. And that kept the drive going, which led to 3 points for the Green Bay, for the New York Giants. And so it's like, man, come on, man, don't do that. And that was in the first half. But after that, it was pretty much a perfect game by the Saints. Play calling, Pete Carmichael. I tipped my hat to Pete Carmichael today. Had a perfect game plan offensively. I think it was a perfect balance of run and pass today. Derek Carr, best performance as a New Orleans Saints today. He really put on display what he could be as a quarterback. This is what frustrated me and a majority of the Who Dat Nation watching him for the past 14 weeks prior. Man, where was this? Where was this? This is what I expected when you came here. I wasn't expecting you to throw for 400 yards a game, 5 touchdowns a game. I wasn't expecting that. This is what I was expecting from Derek Carr. Good decision making, beautiful throws. I mean, actually took shots down the field. He wasn't Deacon Duncan. He wasn't check down Charlie as much today. He was really spreading the ball around. I think he completed to 10 different receivers today. Perfect. That's what I wanted. That's what we needed as an offense. Defense, my gosh, people. This defense gave Tommy DeVito the blues. This was his welcome to the NFL game. And it was a beautiful thing to watch. And I like Tommy DeVito. I really like his swag and all, that's why I was kind of concerned going into this game. The Tommy DeVito who have won 3 straight games and looked impressive in all 3 straight games, or are we going to get the rookie Tommy DeVito? And for the most part, it wasn't he was looking like a rookie. The Saints defense really just made him uncomfortable. And perfect job by the defense. This win keeps us in a tie for first place. Unlike when we woke up this morning, we was in a three-way tie. We're only in a two-way tie as we go to bed tonight because the Green Bay, I keep saying Green Bay. Why am I? I guess because my mind goes to that Green Bay game constantly. Why did we lose that game? But Tampa Bay won today, which makes that matchup in a couple of weeks very, very vital. And wouldn't you believe the Atlanta Falcons lost today? It is not only that they lost to the Carolina. They they lost to the Carolina Panthers. Yes, the 1-12 Carolina Panthers, who we beat last week. The Atlanta Falcons lost. I think the score was 9-7 or something like that. Wow. Wow. And so that drops them down to third in the division and puts us in a very, very comfortable spot right now. We are basically in position to control our own destiny. We have a short week coming up because we turn right around and have to play this Thursday night in LA against the Rams, which is going to be a tough matchup. So this was a very important game, just like every game going forward. Let's be honest. Saints really have to win out in order to have a chance to win this division for obvious reasons, because the two teams that we're jockeying for that division title are two of the teams we have to play coming up, Tampa and Atlanta. So it's going to be crucial. We really have to bottle up what we did today and take it on the road this Thursday night. It's going to be a tough game, a real tough game, but I do see hope. And I'm so mad that I see hope because I don't want to be let down. But this is what I've been looking for all year, and I finally got it. I guess this was my early Christmas present. Or a Christmas present to the entire Who Dat Nation, this victory and in this fashion. So I'll take it any way I can get it. The New Orleans Saints played one of their most complete games of the season as they dominated the New York Giants 24-6 in the Superdome today. The Saints' second consecutive victory, improving their record to 7-7 and keeping them tied for first in the NFC South with Tampa Bay with 3 games left to play. Quarterback Derek Carr played his best game as a Saint, throwing 3 touchdowns on 23 of 28 passing for 218 yards. Running back Alvin Kamara gashed the Giants today on the ground with 66 total yards on the ground, and he had 44 yards with 5 catches through the air. Those numbers puts Alvin Kamara over 1,000 yards from scrimmage this season. This is his 7th 1,000 scrimmage yard season as a New Orleans Saints, making him I think this is the most by any player in Saints history. So congrats to Alvin Kamara today for that accomplishment. The defense dominated New York quarterback Tommy DeVito, sacking him not once, not twice, not 3 times, but 7 times today. Defensive end Tano Passano led the way with a career high 3 sacks today. Linebacker Demario Davis and defensive lineman Brian Bresee had 2, and Carl Grandison and others had 1. The Giants only had 101 yards of offense in the first 3 quarters and finished with 193 yards, going 2 for 16 on third down attempts. The Saints took control in the third quarter, outscoring New York 10-0 while possessing the ball for 11 minutes and 13 seconds. Derek Carr's touchdown pass to wide receiver Keith Kirkwood, a 7-yard completion. Tight end Juwan Johnson on a 23-yard completion, and to tight end Jimmy Graham on a 1-yard touchdown grab. Kicker Blake Grupe made a 50-yard field goal in the third quarter. You probably could have backed him up another 10 yards. He kicked that ball. he nailed that kick today. The Saints will travel to Los Angeles to take on the Rams on Thursday night football. The Rams are 6-7. They are, at least the time of this recording, they are currently playing the Washington Commanders. We'll see how that game turns out, but it really don't matter if they win or lose today. We need to win this Thursday. The loss ends the Giants' 3-game winning streak and dropping them to 5-9 on the season. Let's go over the stats of today's game, beginning with the individual stats, starting with passing. For the New York Giants, we have Tommy DeVito. He was 20 for 34, 177 yards, no touchdowns, no interceptions. He was sacked 7 times today. Tyrod Taylor, he came in for a couple of plays, 4 to be exact. He was 2 for 4 for 13 yards today. For the New Orleans Saints, we have Derek Carr. He was 23 of 28, 218 yards and 3 touchdowns. Rushing, the leading rusher for the Giants today was Tommy DeVito, and that's why they lost. Now, Tommy DeVito had 36 yards rushing on 4 attempts. That's all fine and good. But Saquon Barkley only had 9 touches for 14 yards. Now, going into this game, I heard a report that he was a little banged up. He wasn't 100% going into this game. I don't know what the case was, but how you only give your best player on the team 9 touches and expect to win a game. But I'm happy that they decided to go that route. For the New Orleans Saints, you have Alvin Kamara, 16 carries for 66 yards. Jamal Williams had 8 carries for 24 yards. Receiving, the leading receiver for the Giants was Slayton with 4 catches for 63 yards. Darren Waller had 4 catches for 40 yards. And I thought he was going to be on IR today, but when they activated him, I was nervous because Darren Waller normally destroys the Saints, but Saints did a pretty decent job against him today. Leading receiver for the New Orleans Saints was Alvin Kamara with 5 catches for 44 yards. Juwan Johnson had 2 catches for 38 yards and a touchdown. Shadeed had 3 catches for 36 yards. It was good to see Rashid back. He really adds a dynamic to this offense and a team that really I don't know, just changes the offense. To say that we were without Chris Olave today, we didn't miss a beat on his offense. Actually, the offense looked better. And that's not to say anything disparaging against Chris Olave. He's the leading receiver on our team, but they spread the ball around. Like I said, the ball went to 10 different receivers today. They just looked good. They looked really good. Net yardage today, the Giants had 193 yards today. Saints had 296 yards. Penalties, Saints had 6 penalties for 58 yards. Giants had 5 penalties for 32 yards today. On first downs, the New York Giants had 12 first downs today, 7 by passing, 3 by rushing, and 2 by penalty. Saints had 20 first downs, 11 by passing, 7 by rushing, and 2 by penalty. On third downs, the New York Giants were 2 for 16. Saints were 6 for 12. Fourth down, Giants went for it 5 times, converted 3 times. Saints never went for it on fourth. Total plays, the Giants ran 61 total plays to the Saints 58. Total yardage, Giants had 193 total yards to the Saints 296. Total drives, they both had 9 drives apiece, and the Saints averaged 5.1 yards per play to the Giants 3.2. Red zone. The red zone. Giants never made it to the red zone. They were 0 for 0. Saints, on the other hand, made it to the red zone twice, and get this, they converted both. They were 100% in the red zone. Time of possession, Saints had the ball 33 minutes and 27 seconds to the New York Giants 26 minutes and 33 seconds. The Saints like I said before, will travel to Los Angeles this Thursday night to play the Rams. Let's go over our grades today. Our grades today is uh you would say this is valedictorian type grades that the New Orleans Saints got today. Best performance from this squad. And just a reminder of how I grade every game. The New Orleans Saints have 4 facets that I grade: the offense, defense, special teams, and the coaching. I grade those 4 units of the squad. We average them all out and we come up with an overall grade for today's performance against the Giants. Starting with our offense, the offense gets an A minus today. Offense looked flawless today. They were balanced, perfectly balanced. Derek Carr looked in control of the offense. He spread the ball around. Everything was clicking. They were running the ball efficiently. They got in the red zone and converted. They used Jimmy Graham. Would you believe that? And he actually looked like an NFL team today. This was a well executed game plan on this offensive side of the ball. I enjoyed it. They get the minus because I just didn't understand that opening drive. That opening drive was like, what are you doing? But after that, it was all in. And then they had a couple of mishaps on the offensive line, miscommunications on the offensive line, which is kind of frustrating because this is week 15 and you still can't communicate protections down the line. I was getting mad early on because I thought it was Derek Carr. But when they replayed it and showed it and you can hear the sound, you could actually hear Derek Carr calling out the protections, but the offensive line just missed the blocks on these blitzes and stunts. And I was like, oh, okay, so it isn't Derek Carr's fault. So I had to apologize internally for that. And so aside from those few little faux pas there, the offense did an excellent job today. Defense gets a defense gets an A plus. My God, this defense gets an A plus today. Unbelievable performance from this squad. They came to play. They came to play. Demario Davis set the tone. The defensive line got pressure. The linebackers were looking good. Like I said, Demario Davis. The secondary was great tackling. We didn't get much yak. We didn't get any really. They got 7 sacks on this quarterback today. It was just a flawless performance from our defense. And for the second week in a row, the New Orleans Saints defense has not allowed a touchdown. So this was beautiful. Much needed from this defense. Special team gets an A. As I said earlier, Blake Grupe hit that 50-yard field goal that was just perfect. I mean, he kicked. I don't know, man. This dude makes you want to kick him in the behind sometimes. And then when he makes a kick like that, you're like, my God, this dude got a leg. It was beautiful. And then I gotta say, our rookie punter, Mr. Rugby, he good punts today. He flip field position on a lot of those punts. Not a lot because he didn't punt a lot, but really good job there. Yeah, special teams, good job today. Coaching, perfect game plan today. They executed the game plan. I thought this was one of the best coaching jobs from Dennis Allen, which isn't saying much, but they get an A minus today. Overall, the New Orleans Saints gets an A minus. Best performance so far this season. Best performance, hands down. I actually, dare I say, enjoyed watching them in the second half. The first half, it was kind of tight. Actually, it was a 1-point game at halftime. And then they actually made adjustments and everything at halftime and stuck to the game plan. They looked great. Honestly. It looked great. Yeah. Good job. Good job from the Saints today. Now, who gets the game ball and who has to sit in the corner today? Well, I'll start with the game ball. It goes to Demario Davis. Demario Davis had the game of his life today. Demario Davis started off slow this season with I heard he was hurt. He was hurt, a little hampered earlier this season. You can tell he was kind of slow. He wasn't getting off blocks well. He wasn't putting applying pressure as he did. He didn't really benefit in the run game like he was. But today, I don't know if he's 100% healed, but he was everywhere today. Whether it was stuffing the run, or when they did decide to run the ball, or putting pressure on Tommy DeVito, he was everywhere on that defense, and I think he is what led the charge for this team today. Awesome job from an awesome man, Demario Davis. Game ball, baby. Who has to sit in the corner? Well, nobody. Nobody sits in the corner today, people. And can you believe it? Everybody gets to celebrate. Everybody gets a lollipop. Good job from the New Orleans Saints today. Now, the big question is, going forward, will we see it again? Will we see it Thursday night? Will we see it against Tampa? Will we see it against Atlanta? That's the big question going forward. Has it finally clicked 15 weeks into the season? Hey, some may say better late than never. I don't know. We shall see, but it was good to see it today, and I'm just going to base it on today. I'm happy with what I saw today. As I said, it's going to be a short week, so be on the lookout a couple of days from now when I preview the Saints versus the Rams for Thursday Night Football. And so, yeah, man, no rest for the weary. We have to rest up and gear up for what I would imagine to be a dogfight, because the Rams are playing for something. The Rams are still in this playoff race to get a playoff, a wild card spot, should I say. So we'll see how this plays out. But, I mean, if the Saints can play like they played today, we're great. It's just like last week. If the Saints play like they played last week today, we lose today. But if we play like we played today on Thursday, we'll win. It's up to the Saints. It's up to them. Who is going to show up this Thursday night? We'll review it a little later this week. But I'd like to know, are you happy with this victory today? Or do you feel confident that the Saints have finally figured it out? Hey, do you think that this is what we're going to get from this team every game moving forward this season? I hope so, but I don't want to put all my eggs in that basket. But I do feel a little sliver of hope. Email the show, kbradiopodcast@gmail.com. You could also search for the KB Radio Network on all social media platforms, including YouTube, where you can subscribe to the KB Radio Network channel and like this video. Also, you can give the show 5 stars. You can share the show if you're listening on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, wherever you are currently listening to the Dome Patrol podcast here on the KB Radio Network. Everybody, thank you for joining me for this recap of the New Orleans Saints defeating the New York Football Giants by the score of 24-6. Everybody, I can't wait to speak to you as we preview the Rams game for Thursday Night Football. Until then, I'm going to be screaming, "Who dat?"